Can you hear me now? Yes, okay, so I see we've got two participants, Melanie and Cassandra. Okay, so I'll just start this just specialized for the two of you. This is just going to be a presentation about using multimedia in an online environment. We're going to talk about some of the various uses, some of the different types of video and audio you can create, and some best practices surrounding using them in the online environment. Specifically, we'll talk about Blackboard Collaborate Ultra and hosting synchronous sessions where your students are in at the same time as you and you're doing live presentation as well as recording those presentations. I'm not going to spend too much time on the slides. It's a pretty short presentation, so I'm going to leave some time for some questions for specifically to how you guys would use them, your use cases in your classroom. It looks like we lost Cassandra. She has no connection, so I'll catch her up as we go. The overview of the session, talking about using media in the online classroom, creating dynamic video and audio to help enhance your environment and enhance student engagement and comprehension. Some strategies for recording audio and video, and then the best practices for synchronous sessions, like I mentioned, specifically here in Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Some uses for multimedia, different use cases and different types. Narrated presentations, doing screen capture videos, or in this case here, taking your PowerPoint presentations you would deliver in the classroom and recording videos of them here in Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, delivering them live, hosting your normal classroom lecture here online, and being able to present those materials and record it as you do, so that if someone misses the session, you can make the recording available to them, or they can catch up and review it on their own outside of class, watch it again, pause, rewind. Demonstration videos, which would be you demonstrating a specific learning object here in the online environment and recording a video of it. Instructional videos, you illustrating a concept. Week in review video is a nice way to just check in with your students quickly and kind of give them an update. And some explanation videos where you can be explaining a concept in more detail. So yeah, the online learning environment has a perception of being a very text-heavy environment. We think about online learning and using discussion boards, posting articles, blogs, wikis. It's all text-heavy. We want to try and break up that text content with some multimedia, recording videos or audio, podcasting, making short videos, recording your lecture. To not only enhance the environment, but to appeal to different learning styles. One learner might benefit very highly from just reading a text conversation or reading an article and responding to it, but not everyone does. So having a wider variety of media will appeal to different learning styles and increase student engagement and student comprehension. Using video sites like YouTube and publisher materials, a nice way to source video that you're not creating. And also using the library resources to include videos from subscribed sites, since these videos are usually already formatted for the online environment and they're captioned to meet accessibility standards. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later when I'm talking about creating some of your own video content and how to get it captioned and how we can go forward with that. Recording presentations, I'm talking about a few different ways to do that. First of which would be to record PowerPoint slides. So right now I'm sharing this PowerPoint here in Collaborate and I'm recording this session, and everyone can do that. So you can upload your slides in Collaborate and you can record your session. This way anything you're presenting in the PowerPoint slide is being shown, as well as your audio is being captured in the recording as you narrate the PowerPoint. It's especially helpful for explaining certain course activities, making short videos for things like that, demonstrating the course environment, and I'll show that in real time later, where I can share my screen and then click back and show the Blackboard course environment. If you're going over a concept in the syllabus, or you have an assignment linked in Blackboard, or you have a discussion board and you want to show the students that here while you're doing your virtual lecture, you can do so by sharing your screen or sharing the application window, and we'll show the differences between that when we get to collaborate ultra specifics. Some strategies about recording video. Keep it brief and to the point. Talking about making presentations less than 15 minutes and less than 6 minutes for any videos you're going to include that may be just webcam videos or demonstration videos or things you get from YouTube. There's studies that YouTube have released statistics on where hundreds and thousands of hours of video were taken into account, and there's a pretty good student engagement or viewer engagement for the first 2 minutes of a video, and then it drops off exponentially for every minute afterwards, till by the 6-minute mark, there's no viewership left. So keeping it short not only appeals to, it plays on people's attention spans, but it also gives people a break to go and to have focus on the same thing for so long. Chunking content material, if it's a longer time to cover, like if you have a long presentation, you've got an hour-long lecture, maybe chunking that up into 4 15-minute segments. This way the students can get their head around it better. You don't have to do it all in one big shot. Melanie's got a question: what's the best way to chunk material from a long lecture? Try to just find points where it makes sense in your lecture to take a break. Like if there's a certain subject, and you can kind of do it based on, not to say count your PowerPoint slides, but if you see you have 40 slides, maybe divide that up into 10 slides a piece and try and do those as 15 minutes each. Within the lecture live, you can even say, okay, we're going to take a break here for a second, or you can stop, offer a poll question, do some other activity in there. Yeah, Melanie, so you can simply hit stop recording after you've said you're going to take a break here, if you're doing it live and collaborate, and then start the recording again, and it will automatically make you separate files that way. Or you can take the video file and edit it yourself into 4 smaller chunks. But I would just stop the recording and then start again. It makes it easier for that. You'll have 4 separate recordings there. You can call them part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Or just take smaller concepts when if you're making just short videos about how to do something in Blackboard, or how to do something else how to do something on another website, or demonstrating an assignment or a task in video, just keep those as separate videos instead of chunking them all together. It also helps for if you have to, sure, you're welcome. It also helps for when you have to worry about captioning these, and I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to some of the accessibility points. But if you're hosting these videos on YouTube or UJA, which is the college's media library, you have automatic captions generated by the AI, which are accurate to about 85 to 90%. But you'll want to go back in and you'll want to edit those captions for accuracy, especially if you have terminology that is difficult for the AI to understand. You're teaching an anatomy course or something, or a chemistry course, and you have terms that the caption is not getting correct. You have to go back in and edit those things for accuracy, and you're not going to want to go and edit the transcript of an hour-long video. Webcam recording strategies. Some of this is just some best practices here. Dress comfortably and appropriately for your session. You are going to be on camera. People are going to be seeing you. Flattering yourself with webcam placement, using soft lighting from the front. Check behind you, what's being shown behind you. Make eye contact and smile. You're connecting with your audience that way. It just makes it easier for you to stay positive while you're delivering it, and also for your viewers to watch. Considering locking your door so others don't come into the room if you are making a recording, then you're not interrupted. Consider using a USB microphone for better sound quality rather than just using the microphone built into your laptop. These Logitech headphones that have microphones built into them are very good audio quality, and they're simple. You plug them right into the USB drive, and off you go. It's recognized right here in Collaborate. You choose that as your input. There's nothing to it. And you want to do a video practice with your webcam setup so that you can limit some of the unexpected technical difficulties that may occur. The more you practice it before you actually go for it, the better off you'll be. We'll talk a little bit about synchronous sessions, like what we're doing right now here in Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, where you're doing it live in front of your class. Thing to do is when you're getting started is create an agenda so that you can have the agenda on the screen already when the students are entering the room. I just had mine up here was just my title screen of my PowerPoint presentation. So if someone comes in, they know they're in the right place and we're ready to roll talking about the topic. It's going to be a lecture that's broken up and you want to have bulleted points, make a slide right there or a PDF that you can upload that gives the student the outline of what's going to be discussed. Things you will need, we kind of talked about that already, headphones with a microphone. You'll need to have something way to deliver your audio as well as to hear the audio coming back from your students in conversation. So headphones with the mic will take care of both of those. A quiet space so that you can hear your students and that you can deliver your lecture without any other audio interruptions. You know, you don't want to hear the dog barking in the background or, you know, like earlier today, I had my daughter here and she's crying, you know, like in these cases, obviously people understand we're doing this, everything was working remotely, but I mean, you want to, in general, as a best practice, have a quiet space and set up your audio and webcam ahead of time. Come into the room a little early and make sure that you have all those things set up. Collaborate does run an audio and video test for you when you enter the room, and I'll show you in the settings menu how you can run it again if you're having issues and how to troubleshoot that. More about the agenda, like we said, share the agenda in Blackboard Collaborate so participants can see it when they're arriving. Things to think about before they meet, topics that can lead the discussion, maybe using a poll question right off the bat. So when the students are in there, there's already a poll question up that they can answer, which can kind of jumpstart the discussion. You can show the results and when everyone's in and you start the discussion, say, so I posted this poll before you guys in, here's how you all felt about that, here's the results, and then you can, you know, gauge the discussion that way. The raise hand feature is a nice quick feedback. You can say, by a show of hands, how many people feel this? And the students can use the raise hand feature and you can see who's raising their hand on the participant list. Or using the chat function here and assigning a student moderator, which can be done on the participant menu as well. You can use the attendee controls and make someone else a moderator. And then having students contribute media. Like I said before, using YouTube and streaming media are the norm for today's students. Everyone's pretty familiar with that. You can have a discussion board in your class and you can allow for students to use video replies to the discussion board. They can share video presentations in your Blackboard course or here in Collaborate if you make them moderators. So have a few options there with making students moderators and allowing them to be the ones to share content as well. I'm going to go through, those are all the slides I had for this topic. Like I said, I was trying to keep it to about a 20-minute presentation so that I can show you guys some things in Collaborate and how to put some video content together and how you can share things. And then I'll take some questions as well. Feel free as we go through to either just type questions in the chat like Melanie did earlier, and I'll pause for a second and I'll address any issues as we go. I have a second course shell open in another window. So I'm going to share that one. You're going to see this is going to disappear. I'm going to share another Collaborate window so I can show you from the instructor side how you can share some video content and how you can create the recording in Collaborate and then where your Collaborate recordings will live in Blackboard. Let me stop sharing here and I'm going to switch over. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so here's what you would see when you enter Collaborate as an instructor. You see the menus at the very bottom in the center. Let me move my my screen over so I can control both of them at the same time. Down here at the bottom, this is where you'd want to make sure that if you're presenting, you've enabled your audio and you've enabled your video if you want to share video with your students. Here in the purple panel, the Collaborate panel, you have the four buttons at the bottom, the first of which is the chat, which you guys are using now. The second is your attendee list, where I said you can make students moderators and allow them to share content. To do that, you would go to the attendee controls menu to the right of the student name, and you click on that and you can choose make presenter or make moderator. There's a few other options in that menu. And then to share content, the third button, here's where you can share your PowerPoint file. You would click share files and you can add files right from your computer with this add files button. Choose the file and then Collaborate uploads the file here and converts it to a web format. I have two files in here already, and so you can choose, you see as you select them, they're highlighted in black. Once they're highlighted, you can choose to share now. And then it says to select a slide to begin sharing, you just choose the slide you want to begin with, and then it's being shared. Now your students are seeing your presentation and hearing your audio simultaneously, and you advance your slides right here in Collaborate. I should back up a step before you share. To start the recording would be helpful. The recording button is up in the upper left-hand menu. This is the session menu. And you click up here, the first button is to start recording. So you'd click that to begin your recording, and then when you want to stop the recording at the end, you'd click back up here, and this will say stop recording. The recordings will live in a recordings menu in your Blackboard shell, which I'll show you after we do a few more things here in Collaborate. So back to the share content panel here. I said before, when you're sharing files, you can share PowerPoints, you can share images or PDFs. So if you had an agenda that was a PDF document, you could share it here. If you wanted to share an image to start off your discussion with a poll question about the image, you could do that, be in there. And then you can switch back and forth between your media that you're sharing right there on the Share Files menu. If you're wanting to share a YouTube video in Collaborate, you can do so with the Share Application function. So if I open up another tab here, I go to YouTube, and let's say you had a video you wanted to share with your class, and I'll just say here's this College of DuPage admissions video. You can have that ready to go. Maybe you have this open on your computer before class begins, and you go to Share Application or Screen, and then choose Application Window, and then find the application window that has the video. So I have three windows up on my computer. The middle one here is this admission video, and I would choose to share that. Now when I come and play the video here, you can share the video right there and Collaborate. Also then embed videos from YouTube into your Blackboard shell so that the students can view them after the lecture as well. And that's a helpful way to things. You can copy the embed code straight from YouTube and embed it into an item in Blackboard, and I'll show you how to do that. So let me stop sharing this screen. Give me 1 second to switch back over. Perfect. So now from the instructor side of things, again, I'll share that course that I was in. We'll go through, let me get that YouTube page again, since now I just closed it. I'm sorry for that. I should have just left it open. Meanwhile, while I'm doing this, does anybody have any questions about what we've gone over so far, or anything I can answer for you while I'm pulling this up? Any brand or type of USB mics you recommend? We in Learning Technologies, we've used these Logitech headsets that have the microphones built in on them, and they're great. I'll show you my video right now. You can kind of see what I'm wearing. So it's just these. There we go. Back. Sorry, it's when I went to show it, I unplugged it for a second. But yeah, right when I plugged it back in, it automatically recognized it as my device again. So that's, case in point. It's a pretty easy thing to do, and I'll show you. Let me show you that before I go back to embedding the video, how to set up this microphone or choose your microphone input when you're in Collaborate. And you can also have your students do this if they're having issues that you have to troubleshoot and they're saying that their mics aren't working. So to do that, let me share this. So you can, when you're in the Collaborate panel, once again, that's this purple tab in the lower right. You can come in the fourth option on the bar at the bottom is this My Settings. It's this gear icon. If you click on My Settings, the first option you get is to set up your camera and microphone. Students have that same menu as well. So when they go in, they can do this. It does prompt you to do this when you first enter the session, but in case you have multiple inputs for your camera or multiple inputs for your microphone, you want to make sure you're choosing the right one. So when you go to this, it runs an audio test first for your microphone. That purple bar when I talk is indicating that this is the correct input. If I came in and it was set up to a different microphone source, like I have a different microphone source here, you can see now it's not recognizing it. So it wants to use the microphone that I have plugged into my USB right here, which is the default microphone Logitech USB headset. When I choose that, it says, yep, you sound great. I can say, yes, it's working. It'll do the same thing with video. If I had, this is my built-in webcam on the laptop. If I had an external webcam as well, I'd have to choose. But since I only have one plugged in, this is the one it is, and you just tell it, yes, it's working. Then the students do have to go to the bottom in the center here and enable the microphone and enable the video if they want to share both or either or. Also, one thing to note on this speaker or on this settings menu is the speaker volume. So this purple bar here is the speaker volume. If a student's saying they're having trouble hearing it, but like some students can hear you and not all, then you know that your video is being delivered correctly. But perhaps the student has an issue with their speaker, and so they can check that here and Collaborate as one of the first places they can look to make sure that it's just their in-session volume on their speaker is working. They can also troubleshoot, their own speakers on their own device through the system sound menu. But here in Collaborate, the speaker volume's right here on the settings menu. Let me go back to showing how to copy the embed code from a YouTube video and paste that into a Blackboard item. Go back and get that YouTube embed code again from that COD admissions video. So here, when you find a YouTube video that you want to put into your Blackboard course shell, you'd click on the video that you wish to share, and it brings you to the page where this video is hosted on YouTube. Below the video, there's a share function. Excuse me. And here you could copy the link and post the link in an announcement or in an item. That would make the student have to click the link and take them outside of Blackboard to view the video. So we recommend that you use the embed code instead. So instead of just copying this link, I'll click on embed. Now I have all this HTML code that I want to copy. So there's a button here that just says copy. Now it's highlighted all of my all that code, the embed code for the video player and the video, and I can paste that into an item in my Blackboard shell. So if I come back to Blackboard, and I come into one of my courses, and let's say I have a section over here that I want to put the videos in. You can, sorry, I didn't have the edit mode on. Here we go. When you're ready to put it in to a course menu, a content area you could create called videos. So if you click the plus sign to add a content area and title it videos, make it available to your students. Now I have this link on my course menu called videos. If you click on here, it's an empty content area, and I would want to go to build content, item, give the video title. Right now I'm just saying video 1. And here in the content editor where you can add files or type text, there's an HTML code view button. And so if you click the HTML code view button and paste the embed code right here in the code view, click update. Now when I click submit to create this item, it embeds the whole player from YouTube right here into the course. Now the students don't have to leave the course to go out to YouTube to view it. It's right here in the course. They can play it and review it later. Let me stop sharing this and come back to the other course room. Perfect. So now I'm just going to show you where the Collaborate recordings live. If you do decide to record lectures in Collaborate, how you can get to those and how you can share links to those as well. Let me share back to the other course again. Okay, here we go. So now when you're here in Collaborate and you've made your recording, so you've been recording, now you hit stop recording, you need to see where that recording actually goes. And so to do that, let me share this. In everyone's courses in Blackboard, IT has pushed out a Blackboard Collaborate Ultra link for your course menu. So that's how you're going to go into Collaborate. That's how your students are going to go into Collaborate. On your course manual, there'll be a link called Collaborate Ultra. Here in this one, I've renamed it to Online Collaborate Ultra. But when you click that link, it brings you to the Sessions menu. This is our Sessions menu. Here you can see we have a bunch of sessions created, but you'll just have, whatever sessions you create will be listed here. This session menu has another menu available. It's not necessarily a hidden menu, but it's not a very obvious menu, I don't think. And it's right here in the upper left-hand corner of the black sessions bar. If you click this, you can toggle to the recordings menu. And so this is where all the recordings you create in Collaborate will live. Students can come here. They can watch the videos right here. You as instructor can come over here and copy a link to those videos and then paste that link in the announcement in your course or in an email and say, if anybody was unable to attend today's session, here's the recording of it. And students can view that on their own time. That's really all the content I have for this media presentation. I was going to just try to leave time here to have questions from you guys, specific use cases for your courses. I'm also available, at any time here while we're working remotely via email. If you have specific questions about video or using video in your courses, I know it's going to be mostly probably Collaborate Ultra, and so I can help you with that to get set up to create videos. If you have questions about how to share content while you're making your recordings specifically to your course, I'm happy to address those as well. How does the whiteboard work so the words do not view backwards. So I'll share the whiteboard here with you right now. We're talking about the whiteboard here in Collaborate, the virtual whiteboard that we can share, or you're talking about recording an actual whiteboard with your camera. Or the light board. And the light board, oh, I tried using the feature and it was backwards. Oh, okay. Let's see. So I'm going to, I'll share the whiteboard right now, and then we can, you guys can draw on it, I can draw on it. So if I'm typing some text, you're seeing this text, is it showing it, and it's not showing it backwards to me. I'm not sure about what the backwards part of it. Maybe the other board I mentioned. So here in Collaborate, you have this virtual whiteboard that you can share. If you're talking about maybe the light board, that's the big piece of hardware we have in Learning Technologies in our studio. We're just standing behind a piece of glass writing with fluorescent marker. And then when we film you from one side, it would be backwards, but then we, in post, flip the image so that it's all forwards. I mean, that's something that obviously you're using on campus, so I wasn't really talking about that much in this session because we're working remotely. But yeah, that's when everything's back up and running. The Lightboard's a great way to create some content for your course, and I have some links I was going to send out to you guys after this too about some articles in our knowledge base about creating creating videos that students will watch and using our Lightboard. Sure, Sandra. I hope that answers your question. Sorry, I was confused by it. I didn't know exactly what you meant at first. It says when presenting yesterday, I couldn't scroll the PowerPoint slides to select one, so I had to go through them in order to get back to where we left off after break. No, so you should be able to get through. Let me share my PowerPoint again and just make sure that I'm giving you the correct information. I've got 10 slides here. And yeah, I can scroll through them. I'm looking right now. I can scroll. I'm wondering if the scroll bar was just disabled on the. So were you sharing you were sharing the presentation here through the share files feature? Let me share. Yeah, so let me share the screen and go back to that other section so I can show you what it looks like from the instructor side. Perfect. So now here, if I'm sharing, going to share files, and I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation. This one's got 12 slides. So if I go to share now I have the ability here. So I do have a scroll bar on the right, so you can scroll up and down to see which slide you want to start on. Was the scroll bar just not showing up? Maybe it was a resolution issue on the laptop you're using or the computer you were using, or like a screen size, because that scroll bar should display. The bar, it was there, but it didn't work. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I have not encountered that yet. I've done quite a few of these presentations, and I've always been able to use this scroll bar. I'm not sure why that would happen, but even I'm also now I'm controlling this with my arrow key on my laptop, and it's letting me do this up and down as well. So let's see if I were to instead of maybe when one is clicked. Oh no, even though I've clicked on one now, I can still do it, and I can use up and down on the arrow on the number pad here, and also my mouse. So I have a good answer for you for that one. It's allowing me to do it, and it has allowed me to do it in all the sessions I've had so far. I'll certainly try to look into that for you and see if it's a known issue or if there's something that would have prevented it for you if I can recreate that. But yeah, I haven't encountered that. It's always been able to scroll for me. Yeah, and sometimes I mean, it could have just been in that moment in that session where it just wasn't working. I mean, you could always try to refresh your screen at that point and see if you could then and then make it work. It should, when you refresh the screen and collaborate, when you enter it as the moderator, it should just keep you there and refresh everything, and it shouldn't mess with any of your connection at all. You could always try that. Melanie and Sandra, thanks so much for being here for this presentation. I'm going to send you some links as a follow-up, like I said, to some articles from our knowledge base about creating video and best practices for using them. And if you have any other specific questions as you go through and you're using the tool and trying to incorporate some media into your classes, please let me know. I'm happy to help.